Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Xavier Smith, and today I'm going to talk about cotangent. So let's start. Cotangent is equal to 1 over tangent, so it is the reciprocal of tangent. Tangent is sine over cosine, so that means cotangent is cosine over sine, and that is just adjacent over opposite. Because tangent is opposite over adjacent, so cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So if we look at our right triangle here with legs labeled A, B, and hypotenuse C, while we are looking at angle X here in the bottom right corner, we would say tangent of X is A over B, but cotangent of X is B over A. So let's start. We have our 30, 60, 90 right triangle and our 45, 45, 90 right triangle, and we also have our unit circle for quadrantal angles. So I'm going to compare the tables of these two graphs, but we're really only graphing the pi over 4s, so I'm really only going to compare those. So 0, 0, pi over 4, 1, pi over 2, undefined, 3 pi over 4, negative 1, pi, 0, 5 pi over 4, 1, 3 pi over 2, undefined. So that is just normal tangent. Now let's go to cotangent. So the inputs are the same, the x values are the same, but the y's, the outputs, are 1 over that value. So the y, we have 0, 0. So that means when we go to cotangent, we have 0 and then 1 over 0. Well, 1 over 0 is undefined. Can't have 0 in a denominator. So we have undefined at 0 instead of an undefined at pi over 2. Then at pi over 4, we had 1. And if we go to cotangent, 1 over 1 is equal to 1. So we keep 1. Then at pi over 2, originally on tangent, we would have, well, at pi over 2, we would have 1 over 0. But when we do cotangent, we would have 0 over 1. So instead of being undefined, it turns into 0. Then we go to 3 pi over 4, negative 1, and negative 1 over, well, 1 over negative 1 is still negative 1. At pi, we had 0, but 1 over 0 is undefined in cotangent. Then 5 pi over 4, we had 1. 1 over 1 is still 1. And at 3 pi over 2, we had undefined in tangent because it is a negative 1 divided by 0. But then we go to cotangent, that would be 0 divided by negative 1, which would be 0. So let's graph cotangent. We know what the graph of tangent looks like. So cotangent, we start at pi over 2. Well, technically, we start with our 0 is our undefined. We have a vertical asymptote at 0. At pi over 2, we have 0, so we're sitting on the x-axis or on our midline. Then at pi, we have another undefined. Then we're just going to get our midway points, our halfway points, which is there's pi over 4, 1, and 3 pi over 4, negative 1. If you notice, usually tangent goes in a like left down, right up. But cotangent goes in a left up, right down. So it's like the negative of tangent. And you might also notice that it is shifted pi over 2 to the right. Usually when we start tangent, the point would start here, and then we'd go up and down. But we are shifted pi over 2 to the right. So our domain is x is not equal to pi n, because at 0 asymptote, at pi we have another asymptote, so the period is the same. The domain is not the same. The domain of tangent is x is not equal to pi over 2 plus pi n, because our first asymptote is at pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. Then our range is y equals all real numbers. That's the same. So cotangent looks like tangent, but it's the negative, so the ends are flipped, and it's also shifted pi over 2 to the right. So thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful.